First of all, I would like to welcome our guest, but before we start, I would like to invite Professor Irad Malkin, the manager of the Dan David Prize. Please.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to see so many people here. I will be speaking in English as this is an international occasion and this is an international prize. When the Nobel Prize was created over a century ago, people somehow thought that scientific categories were objective and immutable. They are there for eternity. All we have to do is fill in the various laureates as time goes on. I think we've learned better than that. We've learned that categories change with times, that significances can change with new connections, and it is new connections that give phenomena new meanings. And it's precisely this advantage of the Dan David Prize that puts the emphasis on three time dimensions: the brainchild of Mr. Dan David, who founded the Dan David Prize and the Dan David Foundation and created a cooperation with Tel Aviv University. The flexible categories inherent in the Dan David Prize allow us to make precisely these new connections and turn our gaze to disciplines that have been neglected somewhat arbitrarily by other great prizes that humanity accords to its scientific and intellectual leaders, that is. And so there's never been such a prize in paleoanthropology. And the very decision to choose paleoanthropology as a field of the Dan David Prize, that decision itself was the initiative of Mr. Dan David, and the first time I ever met him. And I would like to, Mr. Dan David is here with us. I would like to recognize him and please. Thank you. The Dan David Prize, as some of you know, this afternoon you'll be participating in another ceremony. The laureates give 10% of their prize money for scholarships, and I think it's the first time in the history of this university, perhaps in the history of paleoanthropology in general, that such a scholarship is being awarded, both for students at Tel Aviv University and internationally. And so it is with great joy that I've learned of the choice of the independent review committee. That's how the prize works. We set up independent review committees that have nothing to do with the management or the international board itself. And the unanimous decision of the review committee to award the prize to Michel Marc Brunet, who is here with us today. So I'm delighted to see Monsieur Brunet here with us today. It would not have been possible were it not for this prize. And I'd like to welcome you all today. Thank you very much.
Professor Michel Marc Brunet, Mr. Dan David, Dean, Dov Lichtenberg, colleagues, students, and friends, cher Michel. It is a great pleasure to welcome you and your colleagues to the Sackler Faculty of Medicine, Tel Aviv University. Choosing you as laureate of the Dan David Prize has proven once again that dreamers, those who think differently and have the courage to take the road less traveled, are those who will eventually make great discoveries, despite limited financial support and recognition from orthodox foundations and institutions. While a majority of fossil hunters concentrated their efforts on the Rift Valley, considered to be the creation cradle of humankind, you moved your search thousands of kilometers west to much older deposits. At the end of the day, you made the biggest discovery since Dart's time, an almost complete skull, Sahelanthropus Tchadensis, known as Toumai. With its extreme age of almost 7 million years and a combination of chimp and human features, the Toumai fossil is the closest we have come to the era when humans first separated from apes. Our family tree is far from complete. On the contrary, every new find brings more controversies and complications. Yet, thanks to your amazing discovery, we have now a starting point. Thank you and good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you. Dear colleague, dear friends, I'm very happy to be here in Tel Aviv University just to tell you and to show you some slides about what we are doing with my team in Chad. Of course, sorry, as you know, I'm French. And I can tell you, my French is really better than my English. If you are not sure, I can try in French. So, I like very much this picture, which is not the picture of nature. When you look at the magazine Nature on the cover in July 11, you have not here the shadow. Here you have the shadow of the sky and the desert. This one is mine. You just can see on this picture the Toumai cranium, and you are, yeah, maybe it's better without lights. I think it's better. It's okay? Like that? Yeah. And you have all this desert named Joab Heg. We are in northern Chad, north of the 16 parallel, and I can tell you it's a very nice place. And it was very nice last time I was there, in last January. The first time of my life I was in Joab Heg without sandstorm. So, I think that during this talk I show you some pictures just to introduce, and after, the best probably is you came with me to a mission in Chad. Oh, you shall see. So, that's right. The beginning of our story in terms of pre-human is here. On this picture, you can recognize here our colleague and friend, Professor Philip Tobias, who is professor in Witwatersrand University in Johannesburg. And just to tell you that Philip has been the PhD student of Raymond Dart. At this place, just here, in 1924, they found this skull that you know, young child, in human age, he has his first molar, so it means that in human age, this guy is about 6 years old. It was the first pre-human described in 1925 by Remondart in Nature as Australopithecus africanus. And at this time, it was wonderful. Remondart has very, very great idea about this. But when you look at all the remarks of his dear colleague, it's nice. Because a lot of people like Sir Arthur Keith, people like De Quers, say, no, it's not a human. It's just the skull of an ape. And it's funny because a long time ago, when we found Toumai, we have exactly the same. And Remondart has to fight a long time, because he has to wait about 25 years. And at this time, 25 years later, all the community agree with that this young human is a true human, or pre-human. It was the beginning of digging early hominid in Africa. It was also the first window on our story, and this first window has been opened in South Africa. And as you know, the colleague in South Africa has found a lot of hominid. You know about Broom and Mrs. Place. And you know that now, at this time, they are digging in Sterkfontein. After. They are digging in Sterkfontein for a complete skeleton, little foot. So, the beginning is South Africa for pre-human. Another point. You have here a nice couple of chimp of bonobo. Molecular biologists have shown that we share a common ancestor with bonobo, with chimp, and this common ancestor must be between 5 and 6 million after the molecular biologist. So, it's an important point. And in fact, till now, we don't know any ancestor of the chimp, we don't know fossil, and we don't know the last common ancestor to chimp and human. First window, South Africa. Here in one you have tongue, in two you have Sterkfontein where they are digging this new skeleton, and in three here is the Makapansgat Valley. And you have new sites, as you know, such as Drummerland, Gladysville, and so on. In 1959, Mary and Louis Leakey published in nature too, the first discovery in East Africa that they name at this time Sahelanthropus boisei, that we call now Paranthropus boisei. So, it was the beginning of the second window of our story, and as you know, after there is a lot of discovery in Tanzania, first of all, in Kenya and in Ethiopia. But in the Haiti, we just know these early hominid in South Africa and in East Africa. And it's a singular geographic distribution, and the oldest of them are known always in Ethiopia. It's why some colleagues think about an East African origin for hominid. And among these colleagues, the French that you know, our colleague Yves Coppens, said about an East Side story. Why not? It was a nice hypothesis. And at this time in the Haiti, it's very important because it's always like this in science. When you are thinking about a hypothesis, you are thinking when, with, that you know at the time. And of course, in the Haiti, what do you know? In the Haiti, we know that the oldest hominid known in East Africa are 3.8. And just today, I'm going to speak to you about a hominid at 7 million. Okay, so it's a lot of difference, a lot. So, each side story, you know, the cradle of humanity is somewhere here, maybe in Ethiopia, and hominid comes from wooded savanna. It's about each side story. And west of the Rift Valley, you have apes, and they are still here. It was in this condition that I decided, with my friend and colleague David Pilgrim from Harvard University, to go west of the rift. First of all, of course, at this time it was clear that it is very interesting to work in Chad. But in the 80s, it was quite impossible. Why? Just because there is here a colonel living somewhere here who has some occupation in this part. And his occupation was quite impossible with mine. So we have just to wait, and we have worked in Cameroon, in Nigeria, and so on. So, in 1994, the war stopped in Chad, and I have had at this time the first field mission in northern Chad. Here you have a map of the north of Chad. You have here Jamina. And you have here the Tibesti mountain, a very, very, very nice place. If you have the opportunity to go there, go. It's beautiful. It's a very, very nice place. And between Jamina and Tibesti, the 16 parallel is here. You have all this part, which is a very small desert, a little bit larger than France. But as you know, we are a small country. And we are working there in Juab-Herg. It means, I can tell you in kilometers, but forget it. When you have no problem, for instance, Toumai is coming from this area. If you have no problem, but it's never like this, we need about between 3 and 4 days from Jamina to go there by jeep. So, but it's a nice trip. Here, so it's a desert, and I shall show you. Here you have the Lake Chad, and it's very important. At this time, Lake Chad today is a very small one, 5,000 kilometers square, not so large. 5 years ago, this lake was 25,000 square kilometers. But 5,000 years ago, this lake was 400,000 square kilometers. It's what we call at this time Mega Lake Chad. And with my team, with the geologists of my team, geologists are from the Strasbourg University, northeast France, we have shown that at least during the last 7 million years, you have had several mega lake Chad. What does it mean? It means that we are working, we are digging in all the sediments of these successive mega lake Chad. Of course, when you are working in desert, you need a lot of logistics. It means that you need a lot of money. Thanks. This picture is just 30 kilometers north of Jamina. And as you see, it's very nice. I can tell you it's a very nice trip because you have road from Jamina to the desert, you have 2 roads doing a little bit less than 30 kilometers. So after it's just like this. Look at this. You have dune, and the wind is coming northeast, like this. And as you can imagine, there is a lot of wind. In the southern Sahara, this region is the most windy one. You have a lot of sandstorm in this region. It means that you have a lot of deflation. And we know now, for instance, that for the sediments for the deposit, for the sandstone deposit of the mega lake Chad, you have an erosion at least of 3 centimeters each here. But of course, it's completely different in terms of geology, of outcrops. It's completely different of that you have in East Africa. Because as you can see here, you have the dune, and all is flat. It's stable to be geologist in my team, working here. Our best outcrops, the best one, and we are working there a long time ago, is less than 1.5 meters high. Less than this. It's a pity, but it's like this. But when you have a lot of wind, a lot of deflation, a lot of erosion, when you have found a fossiliferous level, it's wonderful, because it's a mega lake. It means that the sedimentary level are sub-horizontal, okay? So, when you have a fossiliferous level, you have a very large one, because it's flat, okay? So, nothing is perfect. Jamina, the small actual Lake Chad, Ogar, Tibesti, Air, Hominid, Jos Plateau in Nigeria. This is a map of altitude, high and low. High is brown, lower are blue. And in fact, you have about the basin of the mega Lake Chad. It's a very large basin. In fact, you have 2 sub-basins, a north one and a southern one. And we are working just in this basin. Small part. 400,000 square kilometers. Where you are looking for objects, for fossils, which are just of this size, it's quite easy. Section. Of course, when you want a section, you have just to take, it's not a natural one. And as you can see, you have aeolian facies here. And on this aeolian facies, you have a transgression. And at this time, you have a perilacustrine facies, which is here with sandstone. And we find the fossil in this sandstone. And then after, you have lake with diatomite here. And in the diatomite, of course, you can have fossil, but at this time, you have just fish. As you can see, and it's very interesting, you have termitaries, and we have dung beetle brood balls. And we have some connection, some symbiosis between termitaries and dung beetle brood balls. That's very interesting, very nice. And all the fossils are here. This section, you have a succession of dry period, and at sometimes this dry period are going to arid period with desert, and we are at this time in arid period. Then you have wet period with mega lake Chad, and it's cyclic.
Don't ask me about the period. At this time, I don't know, but we are looking for. After, it's just like the beach in Tel Aviv. You have sand everywhere. The difference is that here we have sediment of mega-chad, and some of this level are fossiliferous one. We are looking for here. Another thing is, of course, the dunes are moving with the wind. So you have never the same landscape. Never. All is moving, just like boat on the sea. But no problem, because we have GPS, and it's okay. Here we are digging a lower jaw. There's a camel lower jaw. Sometimes we have complete skeleton in anatomic connection. Very interesting, of course. We are thinking about some primates. Why not? Here we have a very nice mammals. You have the lower jaw, the skull. Here you have the vertebral column, and in here you have the foot, complete one. Probably you know this animal. Very nice one. And it's a little bit funny. I show you the termitaries. We have a lot. And we have a lot of aardvark, of course. And which is very funny is that, for instance, in East Africa or in South Africa, in all the hominid sites, they have fossil aardvark. But all the fossils that they have are very fragmentary. They have a phalanx, they have an humerus, they have a femora, but it's always scattered. We have in Chad, at the moment, we have 6 or 7 complete skeletons in different levels. And I have a PhD student who is working about aardvark. Another big problem, big one. When you look at the rain in the desert, on the surface, you see here, you have an antelope with a horn here. The left one, the right one is broken here. But you see here all the pebbles, and it's a pity, because a lot of them are exactly of the same size and of the same color of the hominid teeth. So when you look at this, it's not possible to see the teeth. So, nice work. But believe me, it's a long work. Very long. If some of you want to help us, after you have just to give me your name for the next season. Screening, sweeping, screening, all day long, and sometimes, not every day, of course. You have teeth like this, of course. We get a lot of teeth, but just few of these. Here you have an upper P3 of Australopithecus. we get a lot of fossils in different levels, and at this time we have fauna from 3 million till 7 million. We have a good sequence of fauna between this. Our dating is a biochronological estimation, because as I told you, all is flat, and I know we have done field in Tchadensis, in the volcanic, Tchadensis is a volcanic mountains, and in Tchadensis you have ignimbrite volcanism, and it's quite clear. We have dating about this, and we have ignimbrite in Tchadensis between 10 millions and 2 millions. So it's okay. We are under the wind, and it's clear that probably we have very thin ash level. But I tell you, it's flat. There is a lot of wind. So if we want to get this ash level, we have to make a drilling to see that. But as you know, the biochronological data are very good one. So we compare this fauna with East African one, and for instance, the Toumai fauna has been compared with a Kenyan one coming from Losagam. Of course, with the fauna, here you have a fauna, which is about 3.5 million years old, with the fauna and with the sedimentological data. You can try to have an environmental reconstruction, for instance, like this. Water, gallery forest, wooded savanna, and some patch of grass. In 95, we get this lower jaw. Remember, his side story was hominid east, ape west. We got the jaw, and clearly it was an Australopithecine jaw. So, at this time, we already know that the east side story is not the true story. As you can see on this slide, the front of the lower jaw is very flat. It means that the face is flat too. This lower jaw, we have called it Hubble. Why Hubble? Hubble because it's a long human story too. And during this long human story, we have had wonderful time, but we have had also dramatic time. And in 81, a colleague who was one of my best friends died in the field. His name was Hubble, and it's why we have called this first Australopithecine west of the rift Hubble. As you can see, here you see the Hubble canine. It's typically a hominid canine. For the young researcher, if you are looking for hominid, and if somebody tell you, okay, you can go, but probably you just can get one fossil. So, please ask for a lower canine. It's a good fossil to know what you are. As you see, this canine is very asymmetric. As you see, you have wear on the apex. As you see, this canine is at the same level that incisor. All this is hominid character. Of course, you have here a big, very big lingual crest. It's a primitive character. If you don't believe me, when you go back home, look at your lower canine, look if you have this crest. Please, if you have, phone me. I'll take a picture. But I'm sure you have not. Here you have CT scan, vertical CT scan, just to show you that these fossils are very well preserved. It's not different if you have CT scan of your lower jaw. It's not different from this in quality, because of course, you, me, we have not so long roots for the premolar or for the canine. And with this, we can do paleopathology. For instance, here you see a pulpoid, and we have already described some dysplasia. Abel has had several dysplasia in the time at 4 times. Ah, nice picture. This picture has been taken in the National Museum of Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. And it's a very, very nice one. Why? Because here, you have the lower jaw of a very well-known young lady, Lucy. Lucy is the east cousin. Abel is the west one. Lucy is 3.2 million years old. Abel is around 3.5. So they are living at the same time, east and west. And believe me, they were very happy to spend together their first holidays in July 95, and they asked for this photo. Remember, I show you that the lower jaw fable is flat in front. Remember? Thank you. As you can see here, it's very convex. It means that for this character, Lucy is less human, as a face which is more cognate. Abel has a face which is more human than Lucy. Here you have a picture of my last mission in the last January in northern Chad. At this time now, we just allow to be nomad. We are not allowed to have a camp for political reasons. So, it's very special. We have few things. 3 jeeps, you see 2 here. And here we are just in bivouac, not far from this place, which is now a very well-known one. Here you have the Toumai side. We have called it because we are very pretty. TM266. Why not? It means, and it's very important, that the Toumai side is 266 we have before, of the same level, of the same age, 265 more sides. And at this time we have about 300 sides of the same age of Toumai. We have published one side. We have some other one with Hominid. Always the same description. You have sandstone here, and you see this here was not a very good one because sand is coming everywhere. And about everywhere in the site at this time you have about 20 centimeters of sand everywhere. Thank you. The fauna associated with Toumai is a fauna we have a lot of fish, a lot, big catfish, big one. Because we have a lot of fish, we have fish eater crocs. Here you have the genus Eutychodon for the specialist, and you see the teeth like this, typical from crocs eating fish. Now, this lower jaw is a jaw of big threeform mammals who call Anthracotherid. Anthracotherid is a sister group of hippopotamid, and like hippopotamid, this Anthracotherid is potamophile too. Big one, as you can see, and we have a lot of this. It's why we have called in our geological stratigraphy the level, the fossiliferous level of Toumai, we have called it Anthracotherid unit, Anthracotherium unit, because we have a lot of this animal, a lot. We have big suet, the genus Neonzacus, good genus for biochronological data, good one. Here you see a skull. With Toumai, we have now about 50 species, and among these 50 species we have about 30 species, 30 mammal species. We have proboscidian. Among the proboscidian we have a lot of the genus Anancus, but we have also this species, which is, as you can see, a Loxodonta, and for instance, it's a M3 of Loxodonta, and this M3, if you compare it with the M3 that is known in Lucano, in Kenya. Lucano in Kenya is a very important site because at this place we know another earliest hominid whose name is Ohorin. This tooth is clearly more primitive than the Lucano tooth. It means that the level in Chad is older than the Lucano level, and we have other things, of course. Here is a fossil that you know very well now. It's a skull with crust almost everywhere except on the upper maxilla. This crust is silis, iron. Silis is 95%, iron is about 5%, and you have manganese, and it's why it's very black. This skull is a Toumai skull when we have got it. It's a very nice story, because on the field, the skull has been got by this young guy, young Tchadensis student of the Tel University, whose name is Aunta. And now Aunta, his student, have get a grant for him from the French foreign minister, and is now student in Poitiers University. This young Tchadian, Fanone, has been trained in my team, in my lab in Poitiers, and is now the cast man in Jamina. We have built in Jamina a building of about 400 meters square, where are all the fossils. Now the skull, just to show you that it is the true one. Of course, it's a cast. But you can see there is a very, very big brow ridge. The face is not very pragmatic. There is a small canine, but unfortunately I've broke the canine, and the canine is just in my pocket. Canine is going here, but so, like this. Okay. Small one, but 7 million years old. So, here you have very big brow ridge, so probably a male. And here you have a very small canine. So, what does it mean? If you have very big brow ridge with a small canine, maybe it's an hominid character to have small canine. And in fact, on this canine, it's a small one, and there is no crest. And this canine has wear on the apex, which is also an hominid character. Of course, as you can see, the skull, the cranium has been compressed, has been distorted. It's clear. It is distorted. Not so much, but a little bit. But, I don't know if you have seen the Sahelanthropus cranium, but if you have seen the original or a good picture of the Sahelanthropus cranium, and you have had a very, very good picture of the Sahelanthropus cranium in the National Geographic magazine. If you remember this, in Sahelanthropus you have a lot of very tiny pieces and a lot of matrix. Here you have very large piece of bone. It means that for this cranium we can do a good reconstruction. Lower jaw. This one. L3, 2, 1, P3, P4. CT scan of this lower jaw, and you can see P3, 1, 2, 3 roots, P4, 1, 2, 3 roots, M1, M2, M3. With the CT scan, you can do, as you know, a 3D reconstruction like this. And with this reconstruction, as you know, we can do a stereolithograph. Here you have the jaw. Here you have the teeth with the root. Here you have the picture. It's a very nice technique for us because like this you can know a lot. You can have a lot of information that before it's not possible to have. Of course, as you can imagine, we are doing the same with the cranium. But I tell you at once that for the cranium, it's still in progress. Of course, when I show you this, it's not published, it's unpublished. And with the cranium, you can have a 3D reconstruction like this. And as you see, here, look here and here, you are looking at the earliest hominid labyrinthine, the earliest inner hair you have seen in hominid. You have here. Of course, I show you that the skull is distorted. It's like this. The skull, the cranium is distorted, as you can see here. When you look at the two labyrinthine, I show you now, but it's unpublished. Secret. But not so bad. It's not finished. We can do best. But maybe we can have some. Lab? University? For the brain, we have measured about 350 centicube. It means that for the brains you have something which is in the average of chimp, at living chip. Je préférerais.
Non, I'll pass it. No, please go.
Yes. Of course, all that I have said today is a collective work. And here you have all my team is 60 people from 10 countries. It's an international team and a multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary team. And it's very important that you know this.
Questions?
Yes, please. We are open for a few questions. Please.
How was it dated? How did you date it?
You have a for instance, perfect. It's dating that we call biochronological dating. We look at the evolutive degree of the fauna. For instance, if you think about horses, the living horses are one figure, the third one. The ancestor are five. And between you have three. But it's always in this way. You have 5, 3, 1. You have not 5, 3, 5, 1. So, you have here a polarity in the time. Okay? We are looking at this with suet, with proboscidean, for instance, which are mammal group evolving very quickly. So we have a good notion of time with them. When we know this, we compare this with which is known, for instance, in East Africa. And for Toumai, we have compared with fauna in Kenya, and in Kenya with the Lotagam fauna. Lotagam is a site with different level of fauna, and the oldest fauna of Lotagam is called Lower Nawata Formation. The fauna of the Lower Nawata Formation has an evolutive degree which is the same as the fauna associated with Toumai. But for this, in Kenya, you have nice outcrop and you have volcanic rocks. And the fauna is known between two volcanic stuff. The upper one is dated at 6.4 million years, and the oldest at 7.5 million years. And in this, we can see trend, evolutive trend too, and when we say around 7 million years, we are probably very near truth. Okay? We.
At the onset, I would like to say that I think your false modesty about the quality of your English is truly a question of false modesty. I think many of us whose English...
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
would like to have your fluency and clarity of presentation.
Thank you.
I would like to ask one question about the canines. When the first descriptions of apparences and later articulate came out, one of the points that was stressed was the fact that some phonetic characteristics were retained in the canons. Now, you mentioned that in the first mandible that you found at Chad, which was chronologically much later than the Toumai specimen, there were in fact some primitive characteristics on the lingual surface and then the reduction of the distal slope. And if I understood you correctly, the upper canine in the Toumai study was perhaps much more human than one would have expected given the series that we know. Is this correct?
No.
Okay.
It's a matter of my English. Now, the problem is Madam, if I ask you to tell me one derived character for all this group, what is your answer? Human.
Okay.
All the group.
Okay.
What is your answer? What is for you the derived character of the human or hominid group? Tell me.
Or the wise or the good one?
If we are restricting ourselves to teeth.
All. Tell me.
Okay. I think this is impossible to answer in one sentence.
I just asked for one character.
Okay.
You can give me several if you want, but I'm happy with one.
Okay. Incisive form canine.
Ça va pas. Sérieux. Okay. Why not? In fact, I almost agree with you. And I just ask you because a lot of times the answer is bipedality. But I disagree completely when some colleague said this. So, I'm okay with you. But the problem is, here, when you are here, you have to look so that we know at this time. And maybe before my answer, I can have this share. In our story, we have that I call, for instance, the homograph in terms of evolutive degree. We have that we can call the Australopithecine graph. And at this time, now, just now, we are discovering a new graph, a new one. And this new one, the first announcement of this new one has been done in 94 by Tim White and his colleagues. And from 94, we have had announcements about this in 20, 01, 02. It means that now we have Ardipithecus ramidus, Tchadensis, Tchadensis, Toumai. All these are probably in this graph, which is another one. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know at this time if Hominid is here or not. I don't know. I know for Ardipithecus. I know for Toumai. I don't know for Hominid. But I don't know because the material is not good enough. And there is another problem with Hominid. The problem is that the material is coming, the holotype is coming from 4 sides. It's like this. So, I have been very careful with this, as you probably have understand. We have more fossils than we have published. But I have published in Nature as holotype all the fossils coming from the same site and from in the site from 500 square meters. Just this. Just to say that probably all the materials that we have described is belonging surely, probably more surely, to the same taxa, that if we have take 1, 2, 3, 4 different sites. Okay? So, now we are here. And I'm just like you. I'm discovering this new, and it's very exciting. Very exciting. Is it bipedal for all? Is it just one grade? I'm not sure. Maybe there is more. Maybe there is 2 grades here. I don't know for this time. But we shall know, surely, very quickly. I'm sure if I'm going back here in 5 years, we shall know more here. That I can tell you at this time is here. The ancestor to chimp and human as probably upper C, lower P3 sectorial. You understand this? Wait, for everybody? No. Why? In X, it means in gorilla, in chimp. The upper canine has on his distal side a very sharp crest. And this crest that we call a honey crest is difficult in English. It's always difficult when you have to teach it in your mother tongue. This hunting crest is hunting with the lower P3 on the vocal side. It's okay? Yeah, it's okay? When you look at your friend, look. When you look at me, for instance, okay, I'm French, but I have no uninterest of my upper canine. That it means that I have no hunting facet of my lower P3. It's the same for you. We are lucky. You imagine? Is your boyfriend has a canine like this? She smiles. But of course, it shall be the same for her. Just a little bit less. So, gorilla are like this, on in facet, on in crest. So, probably here, on in crest, on in facet, and here we know that there is on in crest, on in facet. Madam, that I can tell you is that Toumai has lost this. So that I tell you for this time is that for me, the first derived hominid character that we know at this time is this one. Is the loss of the hunting crest and hunting facet. Are you okay with my answer? Thank you.
You said you expect more to come, and you're sure that more is coming. In the time scale that is scheduled from 5 to 1 million years, where do you expect to find the next one?
Here is a map, top secret. It's just the same map that I show you at the beginning. But the same technique, but not the same one. This one is mine. For the moment. On this map, you have, it's a map done about satellite photo and with radar made. When you have brown color, it's very high. When you have, which is the English, is color. Right? So when you have violet color, it's very loud. I can show him. Toumai is here, and you have more. So I know with this that we have in Chad lower level. If Toumai is here, I know that I have levels which are lower.
It will be older than Toumai?
If they are lower, yeah. Yeah. Okay? I know this, and I know exactly where they are.
Sorry, Prof.
So your question also was, it's possible. If here it's 7 million years old, it's quite clear. Look at me. I'm a poor French looking for this. First time I've gone in Afghanistan in the 70s to try, because at this time all the people were thinking that Ramapithecus was the human ancestor. And in Afghanistan, we understand very quickly that it's not the truth. And after I go to West Africa in the 80s, and now I'm just here with Toumai. I'm sure you can understand me, that a young guy like me wants really to know what happened here. Okay?
We are running out of time. Sorry, I have to cut the discussion because we have to move someplace else. I would like to thank you very much for being with us and for your lecture. And Mr. Dandavid, thank you again. And thank you all, or to all my colleagues and friends, thanks for coming and being with us today. And we will see you. Thank you so much.